My name is Brad McCoy. It's not Jim Wallace for those of you that don't know me. I manage Southern California for our group. And what we're going to talk a little bit about today, actually a lot about today, is shareholder value and your role in creating it. Before I get into the background on the topic, what I also wanted to share with you were the summaries of surveys that we received. We went out, as you know, to a lot of you and asked, what do you want to learn about when we throw the Cheers Take a Break? And one of the topics that almost always comes up, and it's the most popular, is I want to be a better negotiator. I want to learn about negotiating. But in reality, when you peel that back, really negotiating is having information to be able to deal with the other side effectively. And in this case, knowing our business and the drivers of our business and what creates value and how and why we price loans the way that we do, and understanding when our company is going to survive versus when maybe it's not, you can deal with the business person like a business person rather than just as a salesperson. So I hope what we're going to end up doing today and in the other sessions you're going to go through is we're going to make you better negotiators by showing you what's going on under the hood in how we do business. Okay? A couple rules of the road as we go through. If you have a question, go ahead and ask it. And if it's not one that really fits that particular time, I'll just say, can you save that to the end? Ideally, in a presentation like this, it'll be a little bit of a dialogue. It is a lot of a monologue because a lot of the material is new. You know, we're not talking about loan structuring here. We're talking about generating and creating shareholder value, which is different than any of the topics that we've talked about to this point. Just to give you kind of an overview of what this session is going to look like, it has a hierarchy. And it begins with talking about what is value and how do we measure it. In other words, how does the market perceive Wells Fargo, and how do we deliver back to the market, or in other words, the people that own Wells Fargo, the shareholders, what they require in order for us to continue to be a good investment for them, so they'll put our dollars here, or those of us that own stock, and hopefully it's all of us, will see the value of our investment rise through the actions that we do in step 2 as a company. So in section 2, we're going to relate Wells Fargo and the share price to this whole issue of value and what we do to generate value. And we're going to take that down to that very last step, but the most important one, and put it on the floor and talk about you and what you can do to impact the actual creation of shareholder value and what you do every single day. I'm going to apologize in advance because we're going to cover a lot of material. And I've actually heard a quote from someone one time when I was in a presentation, and the metaphor that he used was, I'm going to ask you to drink from a fire hose. So we're going to throw a lot of material at you and just hope that you'll catch as much of it, since it's new, as you can. And I'm going to leave you with a couple things. If you get to a section or a topic that you don't really understand, make a note. I can tell you that the first time I went through material like this, it was really confusing. And I think if you're anything like me, hopefully you're a lot better than I was, because I wasn't very good in the beginning, there'll be a lot that you don't understand. So make a note and capture it, because we're going to give you some resources at the end of this, a model to use, a reading list, websites you can visit to learn a lot more about this issue of creating shareholder value, because believe me, it's going to be more and more a part of our language and more a part of the way we're measured and paid. So why should you bother learning all this stuff or learning about creating shareholder value? There's really two basic reasons. One, it's critical to the well-being of our company, and to take that down one more notch, it's critical to the well-being of our group. Understand, our group is one of many businesses that the bank has at its disposal. And so the dollars available to invest are finite. So if I have $1 to invest, I'm going to pick the business that's the best investment, whether I'm an investor investing in a company or if I'm the head of a company investing in the businesses that I have available. Being able to do this is really important to the long-term well-being of our business. Secondly, it's how we're going to be paid in the future, so the sooner we learn about it and we're able to begin to acquire business that way, the better. So for your wallet's sake, please pay attention. When I started thinking about this whole issue of shareholder value, it occurred to me that even Hollywood gets it. In fact, usually by the time Hollywood makes a movie about something, they've butchered the concept, or it's something that doesn't even really mirror what goes on. And what I wanted to show you is an example of what happens when you don't create shareholder value very well, but it illustrates why shareholder value is so important. Because our company is publicly traded, which means we're owned by people who depend on us to return to them a competitive rate of return.
From Gordon Gekko. Held our paper is now leveraged to the hilt by some our country was a top industrial tower, there was accountability to the stockholder. The Carnegies, the Mellons, the men that built this great industrial empire made sure of it because it was their money and savings. Today, management has no stake in the company. Altogether, chief sitting up here own less than 3% of the company. And we're from what is $1 million. Held our stock, he owns less than 1%. You own it. That's right. You, stockholder. We were all being boarded and screwed over by these bureaucrats with their state lunches, their hunting and fishing trips, their corporate jets and golden parachutes. This is an outrage. Come on, I want you. Tell our paper, Mrs. Cromwell, tell our paper has 33 different vice presidents, each earning over $200,000. And I have spent the last 2 months analyzing what all these guys do. And I still can't figure it out. One thing I do know is that our paper company lost $110 million last year, and I'll bet that half of that was spent in all the paperwork going back and forth between all these vice presidents. So your law, an evolution in corporate America seems to be survival of the unfinished. So am I supposed to rather do it right or be eliminated? In the last 7 deals that I've been involved with, there were 2.5 million stockholders who have made a pre-tax profit of $12 billion. Thank you. I am not a destroyer of companies. I am a liberator of them. Point is, ladies and gentlemen, greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies, cuts through, and captures the essence of evolutionary significance. Greed, all of its forms. Greed for life, for money, for love, knowledge, has marked upward surge of mankind, and greed, you mark my words, will not only save our paper, but that other malfunctioning corporation called the U.S. Thank you very much.
He's not a very happy shareholder. That company had been underperforming. Fortunately, we have a history of being a company that delivers superior shareholder returns, so Gecko doesn't come looking for us much. One thing just to remember as we go forward, this next year when Colleen submitted her budget, Terry went through it and essentially said, you can generate more revenue with no additional expense. So we're going into a period, and we continue to go into a period, seems like every year, where we're asked to generate more value with less and less resource behind it. So understanding the levers that drive that are going to be really important because they affect not only how we're measured, but most importantly, how we're paid. So please do today, as we go along, pay attention. So what's the primary goal of any company? And that is to increase shareholder value. Eliyahu Goldratt had it right when he wrote the book, The Goal. He said the goal of any company is to make money. I mean, as much as we do a lot of good things and a lot of things that are fun, the reason that you go to work is to fund the other things.